Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of BNA Sports Talk. And every single time I listen to people talk about the NFL, it's a QB carousel. Derek Carr is getting traded. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Marcus Mariota, which is not really a big deal, but I think for now, remember the best quarterback you have is not on your roster. That's kind of like one man's trash is another man's treasure. People say Kirk Cousins is awful, but then Kyle Shannon's like, what if we had Kirk Cousins? You know, the best quarterback that you have is the guy who's coming up next. Now with Tom Brady, this is the effect that you get from him. The effect is, we should brought in Tom Brady. No, Tom Brady brings much more than just quarterback play. He brought in the mindset. He brought in the belief. He's the one who texted everyone at 11 p.m. at night, hey, we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. That's why I picked Tampa Bay to win. I didn't come out with a video, but I'm like, Tampa, they want this more than the Chiefs. The Chiefs are kind of riding high. We're like, we just beat Buffalo. Yeah, we got it, And the Tampa wanted it more. That's the end of it. And took a look at the offensive line. It was just so many things. I'm so glad Tampa won because now this has streamline effects downstream. I think, let's just keep on talking about quarterbacks, actually, at this point. Because Russell Wilson, there was a rumor, I think it was 2019, Colin Cowherd was saying Russell Wilson wants to play for New York. Ciara, his wife, New York, shining lights. They don't want to play in Seattle where it's 44 and raining all the time, especially if you're getting beaten down 390 sacks in 9 years and just getting pounded. That's 70 more, 69 exactly. It's 69. I just don't want to say 69. But it's 69 sacks more than anybody else. Now, Russell Wilson caused this sometime by himself, but we see with players, they know they're going to get hit, so their reaction is, I want to go out of the pocket. I need to protect myself here. I don't want to get injured. Russell Wilson has not missed a game in the 10 whatever years he's been playing. And that's important. Now, when you're looking at the Giants, I think we're going to go all in on Daniel Jones because it's Dave Gettleman's pick. That's what it is. But after this year, Daniel Jones doesn't work out, I'd be willing to trade for Russell Wilson. He's not happy there. They haven't spent a high round pick. Now, you brought in guys like Dwayne Brown have been all right, but you've gotten rid of guys that have been pretty good. Like they got rid of Ifedi, who was decent. I'm pretty sure, I forget the tackle's name. They didn't have Trent Brown. They had another pretty good tackle that they got rid of. They've drafted like one offensive tackle in 10 years. They're drafting running backs. Like that's not what Russell Wilson wants. He wants playmakers, which they got him this year, but he wants a good offensive coordinator, which they hired in-house. That was probably his decision, but he wants an offensive line that's going to be able to protect him. He saw what happened with the Giants this year. I think that was a really big awakening. Now teams figured out how to beat Russell Wilson. He doesn't want a predictable game plan. Now you need like Jason Garrett. I think he's a type of coordinator. I think him and Daniel Jones, if they both suck, they're going to be out, both of them this year. But you bring an offensive coordinator with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson in 2022. I wouldn't do it this year. But I think Russell Wilson's going to look at it. He'll be 33 years old. I'd be willing to trade Russell Wilson. He'd be in the last year of his contract and maybe extend him, pay him a decent amount of money. Maybe in the trade for Russell Wilson, give him Saquon. Chris Carson, not sure if he's going to be completely back. They have Rashad Penny. Trade them, Daniel Jones and Saquon or something, a combination of that. Daniel Jones, if he doesn't play well this year, he's not going to be a high commodity asset. But, move away from Daniel Jones, maybe trade him to another team, do two different deals. I'd be willing to get a Russell Wilson. As far as like the lower tier quarterbacks, like Derek Carr, I'm just not interested. Like let's just stick with the guy. But if you can get a guy like Russell Wilson, who could be a top 3 quarterback at any given year, the advanced stats don't really favor him. He's like 10th and 11th in QBR. He's run like a Kirk Cousins as far as the advanced stats go. But this guy has the pedigree for championships. And if we can fix our offensive line this year, you take a look at it, first round, trade back, get Vera Tucker, get a Christian Darrisaw, Christian Darrisaw is more of a tackle, but fix the offensive line, solidify it this year. I'd be willing to do that because if you take a look at it, with Tampa, Tristan Wirfs. The reason why they were struggling is because they didn't have good guard play in the middle of the year. Their Ali Marpet was injured. That was a key factor to why they were struggling. The defensive line. If you finally solve the trenches this year, which we thought we did last year, but instead of getting a corner, instead of getting a Patrick Surtain, which I make a whole separate video about, getting these luxury picks, we have 2 corners now. Okay, what about our offensive line? What about our pass rush? What about, that's I don't really love that pick. It would be pretty good value at 11. But I think we should just solve our offensive line, bring Russell Wilson in. All of a sudden, you have Andrew Thomas. You have a better Matt Parrott. You'll have Kevin Zeitler will be off the team, but you already have a developing guy. developing guard, sign a Joe Thuney this year, and all of a sudden you took a look at your offensive line, maybe move Nick Gates to guard, figure out what you're doing at center, and then all of a sudden this offensive line is just like, whoa, that's good. Then with our wide receivers, maybe you don't draft a guard in the first round, you draft a wide receiver, you have Jalen Waddle, you have Darius Slayton. You have, I don't think our wide receiver core is going to be elite, but it's going to be good enough for Russell Wilson to use. Maybe get him a bigger body guy like a DK Metcalf that he's familiar with. But I'd look to get a Russell Wilson. Now, some other landing spots I think Russell Wilson may have, which I kind of want to focus the rest of this video on. The New York Jets, because it is New York as well. But I think they're really looking at Zach Wilson. That's what I think it is. Unless you want to do a swap for Sam Darnold and bring Russell Wilson in. And I think the Seahawks saw what they needed to see with Sam Darnold. They lost like 41-7 or something like that. Sam Darnold wasn't any good. If you can't play, because that game was, I believe it was in Seattle. Actually, it might have been in New York, but I think it was in Seattle. You saw how he played in Seattle, like with no fans. So imagine imagine the pressure, imagine everything like that. Sam Darnold is a good player, but isn't the Seattle situation similar to the Jets situation where you don't have an offensive line, decent weapons? But I guess a good defense as well. A cheap quarterback, though, that's the thing. But you only have him for one more year. So the Jets option is decent. If you're looking at the Jets, you have Russell Wilson. You trade Sam Darnold, maybe even your second first-round pick this year, and a couple of seconds. You try to keep on to that number 3 pick, or 2 pick that you have. And then all of a sudden you either trade back or draft a wide receiver like Devontae Smith, something like that, a Penei Sewell to actually protect Russell Wilson, give him what he wants. And then... yeah, that's pretty much set. Or you can go to Las Vegas, do a Derek Carr, Russell Wilson swap, add a second-round pick, do what the Lions did with the Rams, and all of a sudden John Gruden has his guy. But the only thing is that defense, man. That defense, you'd have to get rid of your first-round pick pretty much. And then what would you do? Your offensive line is pretty decent. You have Richie Incognito coming back, but he's old. Trent Brown, I guess. And then Colton Miller has shown improvements. But they have offensive weapons. I think Russell Wilson would be pretty happy in Las Vegas. I think moving the family there, Las Vegas, gambling, people wanted Tom Brady to move there. That'd be a big move for Russell Wilson. So the 3 big teams, those are 3 big teams I can see him going to. We can start mentioning Denver, but is he really going to be like, okay, trade me to Denver? Come on. Come on. No, let's be serious here. You either get drafted by a small market team and you stay there, or you go to like the big show. I guess Tom Brady is kind of opposite of that trend, but... yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. Indianapolis could make a play too, now I'm thinking about it. But hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think. If you were a Giants fan, would you be interested in trading for Russell Wilson? I made this video 2 years ago where I made a poem. I made like a video about Russell Wilson. I'm like, don't join us now. Join us in 2 years when we have an offensive line. And that may happen. But I think we're stick with Daniel Jones for now. But hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in my next video. See ya.